when some of our team members went to Pench and they came back and they were very excited about it. Pench, it's a lovely trek and all that. I frankly told them, let's not get overexcited. I have seen great treks in our country, and especially in the central India of our country, like the Guru Ghasidas National Park, the Odisha ones, and I have an idea of what it is. So don't try to oversell a trek to me. So when a season started and a Pench trek started and people started talking about it, and again our team members came back and told me that, wow, this is something you must see. I made it a point to go and see for myself. And for the first time, I didn't take anyone with me. I wanted to go alone and see whether it lived up to what people said without any distraction from anyone around me. I've just come back from the trek, and I have to say, it is a stunner. Absolute stunner. I'll tell you a small story which happened here. So there was this person from the US who was trekking here. And he was talking about treks in the US. He was talking about, how he has visited many national parks and things like that in the US. And he wanted to know what India has to offer. And I am a very proud Indian and things like that, but I kept quiet. I have myself trekked in the US and Canada, so I know very well what is going to happen. There was this moment in the middle of the trek where we were in the middle of the forest. And the forest guard had somehow magically appeared out of nowhere, knowing that I was around. So he came there and I was talking with him. So I asked him, you're standing here, let's just do a 360 around you and tell me how many species of trees do you see? You are the forest guard, you know these trees, you tell me, count the names. And he started counting 1, 2, so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so, and he did 360. 27 species came out. 27, he had not moved a muscle, he just stood there. Imagine if he had done this for say 50 meters or 100 meters. The biodiversity is so much that it is absolutely mind-boggling. But that's not the whole thing. Biodiversity, people don't understand it. You know what was the result of this biodiversity? I saw hundreds of birds. Because each bird is feeding on a different tree. They all have their own lives. Sometimes you have to walk through the forest and you will stand still for a while and unable to imagine where the sounds are coming from all across the forest. Especially in the morning, late in the evening. My goodness, that kind of bird calls that you hear, bird calls that you have never heard in your life. That was the level of biodiversity going on. This trek is called the Pench Tiger Trail, right? You can change this name of this trek to Pench Butterfly Trek. Because the amount of butterflies you will see on this trail will outbeat those butterfly parks any day. That is the amount of butterflies you see. And where do they come from? Because of this biodiversity. They're all feeding on different plants. They're all helping to take the forest forward. Central Indian forest? Now this is forest. The pride that you have for your country and your forest just multiplies tenfold when you walk into the Pench Tiger Trail over here. And I asked this person who had come from US after some time, what do you have to say? What are you taking back? He just shook his head in disbelief. He said, I had no idea what India has to offer. But you know what? This whole story is just one part of it. The other part is the omnipresence of these animals which you only know in your storybooks. And it's so casually mentioned that sometimes you wonder whether people are putting a wool on your eyes or what. Because you know what, I was talking about with the forest beat guard, and he was saying me, the day before yesterday, I saw this tiger going from here to here. You saw a tiger going from here to here? Tiger? That's the top of the beast that we have in this world. I'm talking about a tiger. And you saw a tiger. He said, yeah. And then it starts. everyone over there has a tiger story to tell. Everyone you meet have tiger stories to tell, and then you think, okay, they've been here for a long time, so you have tiger stories to tell, and then you experience it yourself. Every other moment you will experience a tiger story yourself. You will come across a tree and you will find a fresh scratch mark of the tiger. Fresh. May not be more than a week old. You will come across another moment and you will see a fresh pug mark, maybe done just the night before. You will go a few other steps forward and you will find a feces of the tiger. You will go a few you will find two tigers and they have done something together. They have fought or something, you have evidence of that. You go somewhere forward, you'll find tigers have scratched the ground out. All tiger behaviors. And all along the trekking trail that you are walking on. And then you suddenly realize that the tiger could be anywhere near you. Maybe watching you from a distance. It happened with us. We just stepped out of our camp and we were doing the final day's trek. And there was a small puddle of water to cross. And we were crossing the puddle, we looked down and there's a fresh pug mark. Fresh pug mark. And the forest people who were there with us said, we have come on this trail in the morning to the camp to take you all to us. It was not there. This was 200 meters from our camp. Now people may ask, isn't it scary? Will tigers not attack us? Now I'll tell you the good and the bad news. The good news is it will never happen. The tiger will attack you because tiger does not want to come close to you. So will you spot a tiger on this trek? No. Will you spot a leopard on this trek? No. Because they will stay far away from you. They don't want to go anywhere close to you. And that's the good thing. So don't go on this trek looking for tigers. This is not a safari. This is not a zoo. You are walking inside the territory. Tigers will not come near you, especially because we are trekking in a group. Even there's no scene of them coming close to you, and that's the beauty of it. And other animals, the spotted deers, the sambars. I mean, have you ever seen a sambar? It's the biggest deer you'll see in your life. Huge deer, just going right in front of you, right there. Gaurs. Gaurs are what we call the Indian bisons. You have seen cows on roads. You have not seen a gaur. Gaur is 2x of a cow. That is the massive size they are. The bisons, Indian bisons, gaurs we call them. And their hooves are everywhere, the marks. So you'll see this omnipresence of animals on this trek. Omnipresent. The density of these animals is huge on this trek. Huge. So I told you about the tigers and I told you about the biodiversity, the birds, the butterflies and all of those things. But you know what? At the end of the day, trekkers are doing a trek. And they want to know how good is the trek. Right? Absolutely fantastic. As a trek, imagine there's no tigers. Imagine there's none of this biodiversity or whatever I'm talking about. Even without that, the trek is fantastic. No 2 days are alike. Every day is beautiful as a trek because we will never ever as human beings get an opportunity to trek in the middle of the jungles of a country without special permission. It's not possible. And we do have that. And these are not jungles, these are not outskirts jungles. These are absolutely the densest of jungles through which you are walking through. No human beings go there. You go there and you get an opportunity to trek through this forest. It is so fantastically beautiful. You're walking sometimes through corridors of, what I would say, long corridors of forest where the corridor is kind of enveloping around you. It's one of the most delightful sections you can see. Wide corridor, You're walking through it and it's all around you. Then you come through, streams which are flowing through the forest. You walk on the streams, you cross the streams. It's delightful, they're all camouflaged under the canopy of trees. And then on the second day of the trek, you have this beautiful, Bhavanthadi river. And you walk on the river, along the river for almost 4.5 kilometers, feeling the sandy, the sand under your feet, the pebbles, the rocks and everything, and you're walking along. And it's all under the camouflage of trees. Imagine the river flowing through, meandering through this camouflage of trees, absolutely cool water and crystal clear water, and you're walking along that. Sometimes the river has lots of water, sometimes the river has very little water. These are not perennial streams. So depending on the season, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It doesn't matter. What is the most important thing is that you are getting an opportunity to walk on a river. It's absolutely magical. And then you get to camp beside the river, and then you again continue your journey through the forest, and then again the presence of these tigers and animals and all that. So each day has a very, very distinct thing, something distinct to look forward to. And that's what brings out the magic of this trek. So you don't get bored even for 10 seconds. It's so this thing, and you're camping in such great places. You're camping in this beside this ancient forest rest house, which was made in 1903 in the middle of the forest. I know Britishers made this because they wanted to entertain themselves, but getting a chance to be there in the middle of the forest, and then from there trekking besides and camping besides a huge lake, and then again besides the forest, on three sides you're surrounded by forests over there, and that you're camping on that one side of the lake where wild animals are not going to come, but on the other three sides of the lake, for sure in the night they're coming for a drink, and you're there. And then you're continuing and you're doing this river walk, and then you're going through the forest again. It's amazingly each day is so different. See, I'll tell you something, this trek is very fulfilling. That whole atmosphere of that trek, from the minute you get in there and the time you get out of there, is very fulfilling. So a trek which gives you so much of fulfilling in your life, where you'll never see the sceneries. No way, it's not possible. Unless even if you go on 101 safaris that are there in our country, you will not get to experience as you do when you walk through the same forest, because you're cutting right through the heart of it. And then experiencing these rivers and streams and walking on it, and in that whole canopy, under the canopy of trees. I'm telling you, it's a very shady trek. This whole trek is very shady. Sunlight just streams through the trees, but it's not hitting you hard ever. So all in all, it's a very, very, it'll stay with you forever in your life. Forever, it'll stay with you once you do this trek.